Hi guys, in this video I will be making a hidden tang dagger, sort of. I had never made this type of knife before. Usually I just make folding knives, so I found this really refreshing and enjoyable. The scribe lines are just to show me where the center is, so I can make the point symmetrical. I'm using my trusty old makeshift jig for grinding the bevels. While making this dagger, I found that I need a new table. My table is not steady, nor is it straight. That's okay for the shorter blades I usually make for the folding knives, but with this long blade, it was a real pain. Anyways, a file can take care of that. Since the blade is not hardened yet, I took the opportunity to remove the tool marks left by the belt sander. When making the tang, I kind of messed up. I did not measure the exact midpoint to each side. This left me with a tang that tilted heavily to one side. This forced me to measure everything out and start working at it with a file. I just got this file guide in the mail and I have never used one before. Does anyone have a tip for how to be sure that the tang is pointing 90 degrees up? It's kind of hard to use an angle when my tang is tapered. Please leave a comment if you know. I preheated the quenching oil to about 50 degrees Celsius, that is 122 degrees Fahrenheit according to Google. I tempered it at 200 degrees Celsius or 392 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. And now sanding. Some people hate it, some people love it, I'm in the latter group. There's just something magical about going from scorned metal to a shiny and beautiful surface. I started off at 180 grit and finished at 2500 grit. Here I'm just showing the cycle rotation I do with each grit. I finished it off with some metal polish. I don't know exactly what grit it is, but in my experience I know it's higher than 2500 grit, but it's lower than my buffing compound. This will be the bolster. It's from brass. When I made this, my file guide was still in the mail. Next time I'll try to use it when making bolsters. I think that would really help with making a snug fit. In the end, I'm okay with the result. It's not perfect, but it's not that bad for my first try. After rough shaping it on the grinder, I wanted to straighten it out with my file. I find it easier to make the sides nice and flat doing it this way. And here I'm just making the bolsters closer to its finished form. I'm using the hole in the bolster as guide for a liner. I made 2 of this, and I did the same with a plate of brass. This is Wenchwood, or at least I think that's the name in English. This will be the main part of the handle. And here, this is the back bolster. I made a taper on the back hole for peening when glued up. Here you have all the parts of the handle. I also sanded the bolster to 2500 grit and buffed it. I'm making sure to cover the blade and bolster to prevent the excess epoxy from spilling all over it. "24 hours later and I'm ready to shape the handle. But first, peening. I want the handle to be round, so to get from this mess and over to that, I started by making the sides of the handle the same width as the bolsters. When the sides was good, I used a file to make the top and underbelly of the handle square. After that was done, I could easily transition away from the square and over to the round shape I wanted. Here I'm giving the front bolster its final form. Then I make the handle flush with it and then remove the tool marks. After, I shaped the back bolster too, then started bringing it all together. Finally, I made a small taper on the back bolster before sanding all the parts. Then brought it over to my buffing wheel. Last, I applied some boiled linseed oil to the handle. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy the results.